Psychopaths. People who commit crimes against humanity. I was reading an article recently that explained, or that it brought up an interesting point that I never really thought about. When you take the basic definition of a psychopath, you're going to think kind of something along the lines that they're messed up in the head, they're kooky, they do bad things. And there's two types of psychopaths this person brought up. The type of psychopath we often associate with are simply the ones you hear about, the one the media covers. Like, for example, a guy shoots up a school. You're going to think he's a psychopath. If he robs a church or robs a gas station, whatever, those are the unsuccessful psychopaths. They are unable to remain hidden, or they're unable to keep their impulses at bay, and they're unable to act in society normally, whereas successful psychopaths can. Successful and unsuccessful psychopaths, they share the same mindset, except one just allows themselves to be exposed. For an example, for successful psychopaths, one of these may be a politician lying to the public, because they often do that. They tell you, it's general knowledge, they tell you what you want to hear, just so you get them in office. This is very, very similar to becoming a president of the United States, or becoming a president anywhere, for a fact. Not even just Obama brain, but becoming a president is all about who can get away with lying the most. And with lying usually comes a false promise, or either their positive, what they say may be a positive intention on the world, but they may do the complete opposite, simply because they're kooky in the head. Another example of successful psychopath are doctors. Now, I'm not saying all of them are, but there is a fair chance that there are some out there. Doctors, you might hear once in a while that they may provide false prescriptions to patients just to receive a little bit of extra income, which can completely destroy someone's life, either mentally, physically, or get them ill, or cause a liver shutdown, or whatever it is. The doctor only wants a little bit more money. Another example, successful psychopath could be even a counselor. I want to become a counselor someday, and I keep an eye out on how other ones act, and I read articles. I like to know what is new in the world of psychology, and often, once in a while, you hear about false counselors who have done more damage than they have done good. Some counselors, they will claim that patients have more problems than they may actually have, just to keep them coming back. Whereas you can take a completely healthy person, but if you tell them that there's something wrong with them, they're going to be fixated on exactly what that is. Especially if you can tell them specifically if something's wrong with you, they'll keep coming back to you because they want to be the perfectly healthy person, despite they might already be. This is very damaging. Counselors have probably the most ability to screw someone up as an individual. These are just examples of successful psychopaths, or the ones that can be. The point of the matter is that you can take someone with the name of a doctor, and you shouldn't trust them automatically. The unexposed psychopaths are the ones who cause more damage simply because they're either trusted or they can get away with it. Successful ones easily cause more damage because they can get away with more corruption. They aren't locked up. They aren't confounded. They're able to continue their practice at free will until they inevitably get caught. Basic sociology states that, this is actually a little bit off topic, but an important point I want to make is that just because people have that fancy name behind them does not mean shit. They may be a doctor, so oftentimes you'll think, oh, a doctor, they are good people. You may think that, but some of them are still corrupted, and some may do, as I stated earlier, falsely prescribe medications just to get more income. That sounds like a disservice to the general public, which would initiate them to properly be coded a psychopath. And basic sociology states that people become stupider in a crowd. Now, the reason I mention this is because this goes very hand in hand with a lot of politics. Whereas if somebody says something and 100 people follow them, that does not mean that whatever he said is correct. it may be completely wrong. There might be 100 people just as messed up as he is that just follow him for whatever reason because they agree. The point of the matter is, though, that the only reason I'm even talking about this is that just because a guy has a pretty name on him, if they have the title, I'm a doctor, I'm a counselor, it doesn't mean anything. If he's a president of the United States, that does not make him any better of a person than you and I are. It does not give them any more reason to be trusted. I'm not saying you shouldn't trust them, but you have to keep an eye out for yourself. People with great power often have a lot of corruption behind their story. This may not be as true in the medical field, but I know it is definitely for politicians. But just keep an eye out. Don't follow bandwagons. Just because 100 people believe something's true does not make it any more true.